everyone. Welcome to our third installment in our series, Breakfast with Realtor Champions. I'm Jordan Forrest, and I'm the Government Affairs Director for the Raleigh Regional Association of Realtors, and I'm joined by my co-moderator, Casey Angel, our Vice President of Policy and Engagement. Good morning, Casey.
Good morning.
Morning.
Casey and I are so proud to welcome a great advocate for the citizens of Wake County and a true Realtor champion, Commissioner Vickie Adamson. Good morning, Commissioner. Thank you for joining us. All right, so before we jump in and get started with the Commissioner, all of you who are joining us live today, you can use that Q&A feature, drop any questions that you have in there, and Casey is going to make sure that we ask any of those questions at the end. So feel free to use that throughout our meeting today. All right, Commissioner, are you ready to get started?
I am.
All right, so for everyone who's viewing this today, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to join the Wake County Commission?
Yeah, I grew up in rural North Carolina in the Hickory, North Carolina area, and I went to East Carolina University, and I settled in Raleigh in 1983. And I know a lot of y'all weren't even born in 1983, but that's when I came to Raleigh. And my degree was in accounting, so I spent 15 years in corporate finance. And then I had a son who's now 21 and a junior at the University of Alabama at Huntsville. And I left the workforce, and my intention was to just leave the workforce until he started kindergarten. So when he started kindergarten, I was all ready to go back to work. You know, I'd kept all my network warm, and the teacher asked me to be room mommy. And I said, "Oh, what does a room mommy do?" She's like, "Oh, you just plan parties and bring some cupcakes." I was like, "Cool, I can do that." Well, I got in the classroom, and that was, 15 years ago, and realized how under-resourced it was then. And I never went back to the workforce. I became a education advocate with no education in the field, just grit and determination. And unfortunately, every year since then, it feels like something's been taken away. And, you know, and I found out a couple of years into that, there was no way to really be effective without getting in the political arena. So that's when I started lobbying political boards and decided I wanted to be on the other side of the table, and waited till my son was out of high school so I could devote full time to this. And I'm glad I waited to do it that way. So my real big issue is public education, which is one of the biggest economic drivers we have, and one of the reasons people want to come to Wake County.
That's great. Yes, we got to talk a little bit about your son before we started this. So he is currently in school, so our thoughts are with him as he is on campus during a pandemic. But
that's right.
Speaking of that, this has been certainly a very interesting year for everyone, but certainly those in elected office.
Yes.
The Wake County Commission stood strong with our industry by deeming real estate essential during the stay-at-home orders. Mm-hmm. Why did you and your colleagues feel that it was important to do that?
Well, when we went to do the stay-home order, there was no one had ever done that before. And typically when we look at a new program or a new policy, we go to other counties who have something similar and see what their experience is. Well, we were just completely kind of going in the dark about how to do this. So we started talking with our economic development staff, and what they relayed to us was that in the past, because we knew we were going to go into a recession, that chances were this pandemic was going to cause a recession. And in the last couple of recessions we've had in Wake County, what has led us out is real estate. You know, home building, realtors, that has been the driving force in Wake County to really pull us out of recessions. So we made a very purposeful decision to keep real estate strong. We knew we were going to have to pull down hospitality. So we kept builders going. We wanted you guys to be able to keep working with some virtual, obviously, safety features put in place to keep you and your clients safe. And from a personal level, I knew that people were going to lose their jobs. And if somebody needed to cash out the equity in their home, I didn't want that to not be an option. So that is why we decided to leave real estate up. And it was absolutely the right decision. We've had a chance to look back over what we've done the last 6 months, and some things we did right and some things I would do different. And I hope we never have the opportunity to practice lessons learned. But one of the things we did really right was we kept real estate up and kept you guys working, because areas who didn't are in a lot deeper recession than we are. And we also knew from speaking with our economists that tourism and hospitality come back very quickly. You know, once restaurants got open, I mean, I think every social media post I saw was somebody eating in a restaurant or in front of their favorite restaurant. And as things get more and more open, that will increase because there's pent up demand. And real estate would be a lot slower to come back. So we're really pleased, and we're really pleased you guys were willing to continue working and keep things moving, because I know it was a real adjustment for realtors as well.
Yeah, and Commissioner, if you don't mind,
Sure, go ahead.
I don't know how much all of our viewers might know about the relationship that you had with our team during that time. And it was, I think, a very good partnership between us, where we sort of expressed the needs of people to get in homes or to have the right to be able to move, and to allow real estate to continue on. But you also came back to us with concerns regarding open houses and things that you were concerned about, that we were able to share those concerns with our members. So it's very much a two-way relationship. And it was very important to us, and we are very grateful that you picked up the phone and gave us a call.
Yeah, it was surprising. Of course, our email volume greatly increased once the stay-home order came into place. And I tried to at least respond to everybody's emails, so they just know I've read it and we're listening. And I was surprised. I actually got some complaints from realtors who were upset that they were still, of what the stay-home order had, that deemed you guys essential and kept you working. So yeah, Jordan, it was really nice to be able to call you and just work through those concerns. And I think, and also the home builders, we got some concerns from the construction sites, and it was really nice to have that two-way relationship and be able to work through it before it got to be a big problem. Because it's, there's just a lot of fear, and it was really good to have that. And it was good to be able to talk to you guys while we were creating the order and talk to some of the big stakeholder groups to just see what was really feasible moving forward.
Yes, and we appreciate being included in that conversation for sure. Well, hopefully the pandemic doesn't take us too far into 2021. We know it might linger on there a bit, but as we look towards 2021, what are some of your goals and priorities?
Well, I think my biggest priority is still our public health response. I do serve as vice chair of the Human Services Committee, which is over our health and human services. And we are trying to get ready for a vaccine. That's the next big phase we're going into. And we've actually, right now, nurses are at a premium, especially nurses that are comfortable working on the front lines in COVID. So we've got 6 new positions we're trying to fill with nurses that will be vaccine specialists. So when we do get the vaccine, we are ready to deploy it as quickly as possible. And we've already, we're doing, our Health and Human Services Department does a lot of flu shots. So we are doing drive-through flu vaccines. And part of the reason we're doing that is just so we're ready when there is a vaccine, that we're up, we're we've tested the drive-through vaccine administering, so we're just ready to go, and we can get it into the public as quickly as possible. And the second thing is just general health and human services. This is, we're seeing a lot more alcoholism rates, domestic violence is up, just exactly what you would expect in a really stressful period. And we're trying to get as many services into place, so when we come out of this, we're ready to move forward and sort of get back to where we were before. Although things will never be the same. I mean, realistically, I think we're all going to have our masks, and at least for the foreseeable future, but so we can function more as a society. And I think that the other really priority I'm working with is just is inclusion and equity, with the protests. And I think it's always been there, and we've done a lot of equity inclusion work, but it's so much in the forefront right now. So we've got a project I'm really excited about going on with the chamber, where we're going to do an equity study in our business community and just see how we can all be more inclusive. And a lot of the large employers in our county are already doing a lot of that work. So that is, I think, something that's positive that's going to come out of the pandemic.
No, I agree. It's been a very interesting time to be a leader with everything going on.
Yes.
And I'm glad to hear your priorities are aligned with what our communities have been struggling with during this time. What is your favorite thing about serving our community?
Well, I think there's two favorite things. Actually, when I got elected, I thought, I'm going to do this one term and I'm done. Well, about 6 months into it, I was like, oh, I kind of like this. I don't think that's going to be the case. I feel like I have the privilege to meet so many of our community leaders, like you guys, nonprofit leaders who are so dedicated to what they do. And that's really inspiring to me to see people, especially citizens who don't benefit personally. Last night, I was on a call with housing advocates, because affordable housing is one of our big initiatives. And we are this year building more affordable housing units than any year in the history of the county in the middle of a pandemic. So we're not slowing down with affordable housing. And a lot of the advocates I was on the Zoom call with last night are housed. They personally don't benefit, but it's their passion. So it's really inspiring to just meet folks who are doing that, and just to see that some of the projects I've championed have come to fruition, and that they're helping citizens that traditionally haven't been helped by county government. Last week we were able, I'm the arts liaison, which is really a fun gig to have, by the way. I'm chair of the Wake County Arts Committee, and because the arts are so rich in Wake County. And, the state legislature handed out grants to 98 counties and left us out. So within about 10 days, we were able to take $1 million of our CARES Act and move a grant program forward that we voted on Monday that the United Arts is going to administer, so we help our arts community. Because there's about 10,000 people in Wake County who are employed full-time in the arts. And we want them. I mean, they are us. They add so much to our community. And once the pandemic's over, we want them back. And so it was really fulfilling to me to see that come to fruition. And then on the backside of it, I can't wait to see who's helped and who benefits from these funds.
Yeah, that's great. It sounds like you have your hand in a bunch of different areas right now.
I do. Maybe that's one of the disadvantages of having a full-time commissioner is sometimes when I talk to staff, I think I can almost hear in their voice, oh God, what's she doing now? And but it's good. It works out.
Yes, well, we're glad to have a full-time commissioner. As
Yeah,
we wrap up and before we head
sure,
over to that Q&A feature for
sure.
anyone that's watching, we're about to, field your questions if you have
Yeah,
any.
sure.
Um, but Commissioner, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with us or ways that people can get involved with or support your campaign?
Yeah, I wanted to address education. I know there's been a lot about when school going to start back, when, you know, and it's really difficult because it's another one of those things that's just never happened before. The schools came down in March. They haven't been back up. The public schools haven't, and we have given the school board. Our relationship with the school board is we finance them. We're their banker. And we have given them everything they've asked for, even with a reduced county budget, to try to get the schools reopened and do it safely. And it's very difficult to decide how to do that and what's the safest for all students. So that's the first thing. And gosh, just the thing is, I have is tell your friends to vote for Vickie. That's one of the believe it or not, that personal endorsement is one of the best endorsements you can get. Is just say, hey, I know this lady, and she's I'd like to see her stay on the Wake County Commission, and get folks to flip the ballot over. Commissioners are on the back of the ballot. We're what's lovingly called a down ballot candidate. And that's actually not a great place to be, because in 2016, actually 36% of voters never finished the back of the ballot. And there's a couple of reasons, I think, because the national level candidates and the state level candidates have budgets where they can do media, they can do commercials. So you see them and they have a lot of name recognition. Well, as county commissioners, we don't have the luxury of that type of advertising. So people flip the ballot over, they don't recognize the names, or they just get ballot fatigue on really long ballots. So if you can encourage everybody to flip the ballot over, that there's some really important races on the back of that ballot. That's basically my message is flip the ballot, and please fill out the back. It's important.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that, Commissioner. That was definitely one of the things that we've closed on a lot of these Breakfast with Realtor Champions is how long the ballot is. Ballot
Yes.
fatigue. A lot of people go in there and they say, I'm voting for so-and-so for president or governor or senate. And this is a very packed ballot. So we are so thankful for you and the rest of the commissioners that we got to work with this year. Just to reiterate what Jordan said earlier, along with our President Lewis Grubbs, to thank you for your personal touch during this pandemic. This is a year that is unprecedented for anything we've seen, and hopefully nothing that you, I, Jordan, or anybody listening has to go through again.
Yes.
If so,
Yes.
we've got the blueprint, I think, unfortunately. But the truth is, for everybody listening, is the two-way street that we were able to create is in no short part to thank you to Commissioner Adamson for all that you've done. Jordan said it beautifully. She reached out to us, said that they had concerns. We were able to work back and forth in a true partnership. And so we are so thankful to you and the rest of the Realtor Champions that currently sit on Wake County Commission and hopefully continue to do so after November. And we look forward to continuing our great work with you, helping Wake County achieve new heights.
Yes, the same with us. We see you guys as a true partner. And also, county commissioners, we run the whole county. We're come from districts, and that's mostly so everybody on the commission is not from Raleigh, but we're on so everybody's ballot will all have all 7 of us on there.
That's wonderful. Well, and in the chat, I see that our President Grubbs said he wanted to thank you personally for your support, and obviously you being instrumental in this economic engine continuing to move in Wake County. Like you said, home builders, realtors, the home buying community, people need a roof over their head. And that's one of those things that really does bring us out of what could be a possible recession at any moment, or to be able to stave that off for the time being.
Yeah, and the next thing we have coming up is we're starting to look at our land use policies. they have not been sort of dusted off and looked at since 2005. So it's past time, but of course that's for unincorporated Wake County, because we've got to get you guys some inventory. And I think we're hoping to unveil something sort of November-ish and start taking public comment and make sure that we're getting input from the home builders and farmers and some of the real stakeholders now, but just so we can try to get some more building going in the county and get some inventory out there, because, you know, we get the little thing from the Register of Deeds as well about the houses that have sold. And you can really tell just from that one chart that we need inventory in this market.
Couldn't agree with you more. That's absolutely true. Well,
Yeah.
we're just running up about time. I wanted to thank you again for all of your not only hard work for our industry, but joining us this morning. It's been a fantastic pleasure to catch up with you, and I'm sure we will do so very quickly.
We will, yes. And even even if we get to a stable year, I still want to talk to you guys.
We'll hold you to it.
Even if there's nothing to talk about except, gosh, we're glad that pandemic is over with.
Amen to that.
Thank you, guys. You have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.